let's just sew whatever. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the Lauren bag out of this really fun kind of duochrome vinyl. It is so soft. It looks completely different in person than it does on camera, but it's got these wrinkles in it from the Decaville light, but I think they'll kind of relax away over time. We added this fun quilting with some foam and Decaville light, but it is a super fun, easy, quick sew that I hope you will join me in making, and don't forget to subscribe. So we can go ahead and cut our zipper tape down to size. We need 16. This is for our top zipper. And then I'm going to cut one that's like 12-ish for the other one. And then I'll put those zipper pulls on just so it's ready to go. I am using a bow zipper pull for my other zipper, and that is from geekyhardware.com. And I am using a zipper jig to attach my zipper pull. This is not a tool that I can sell any longer. It was a limited time run, but it helps me put my zipper pulls on like perfectly. And then I have that little zipper tab piece that I'm going to use to place my zipper tabs onto my zipper. And you could cut this to like 1 inch wide if you wanted really short tabs. It's up to you. Okay. Okay, sorry. Hopefully editing Lauren takes care of all that. We'll stitch that on. And then I'll cut that apart. So zipper tabs are attached, and we can set this aside for later. And this is for later. You can go ahead and attach your zipper purse feet. And I will do that at 1.5 inches in. So it's going to be 1/2 inch from the 1 inch markings that I created on my back panel. And then the center, Ooh. That's not the center. Is that the center? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. That is the center. And then there. And so we're going to do our stitch lines. Make sure you leave your tails long. And then I will add duct tape over top. It's going to add a little extra strength. You could even use glue as well if you'd like. But I'm just going to do 2 lines of duct tape. I feel like this is not something I used to do often, and then I cut my hands one too many times on hardware, so I was like, nah, we're just gonna do it every time. So there's that installed. So I'm gonna use 3/4 inch double-sided tape along either side, and it's fine. Okay. My stitch length is set to a 4, 5, it's set to a 5. I don't even know why I said 4. I'm just gonna go all the way around. And in psyching myself out to make sure I didn't go wobbly on the handle, I went a little wobbly on the handle top stitch, but that's okay. So use a lighter to singe the ends, and then I will trim my excess off the ends just slightly. Okay, and then we'll set those aside. Strap connectors. And no, I have not quilted it yet. Okay, I can't. I'm almost out of this too. My baggie, and then I'm just going to use a little piece of tape. Oh, I don't like this big tape for this. Okay. So I'm going to peel the tape and fold this around. And I like to do like a 2/3 situation, 2/3 and a 1/3 on the back. And then I'll add yet another piece of double-sided tape to help when I go to place this, but I can use 3/4 for that, or 1/4. 1/2 inch is better, but just hold a little bit. And then you want to make sure that your tape does not go outside of where your top stitching lines are going to be, because then, you know, your tape is kind of seen after you stitch it on. I used to do that thinking, it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters. And then another thing you want to not do with the double-sided tape is touch it to the hardware of your bag, because then your strap connectors, your D-rings, whatever, triangle rings, they don't sit well later. Okay, so we can set these aside. We're just getting like all of the prep work done and out of the way before I quilt those. So now we can add our zipper pocket. This will be nice and quick. My preference is to add it to the side that's going to be left open. I find it easier to pull, but like my friend Brittany doesn't like that method. She'd rather add it to the side that's sewn shut. So it doesn't matter whichever side you want to add it to, you can. Just make sure it's centered and about 2.5 inches down from that top edge. So I got my little 2.5 inch wide ruler. Line that up with the center that I no longer can see. So I'm just making a teeny tiny little mark. Line that up. And then I know that my zipper overlay is 10 inches wide. If you followed the pattern exactly, yours is going to be like 9.5 inches wide. Or you can just go ahead and mark out the zipper pocket how the pattern is stated, and that's just like a super simple regular old zipper pocket. Nothing wrong with that. We're going to cut this open. And then this is my preferred method currently in life for a zipper pocket. But you can truly just follow any method you like. You do want to leave it open at the bottom to turn the bag through, but that is the only must do. All right, and then I like my zipper pull zipping off the fabric to the left. And I'll lay this down and top stitch it at about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, my bad. Lining up one side, but leaving the other to trail off. I'll attach that. And then the other side of the zipper pocket, right sides of your lining are touching, and we're lining up the zipper tape. Okay. And now that that is attached, you could press this. However, with the materials I'm using, it's kind of thick, so it's not going to sit flat. So we're just going to press this down and top stitch. And here is another thing I like to do is I will leave my needle in. I'll come across this open end of the zipper and top stitch over it. And that is going to prevent my zipper pull from ever being able to slide off there. And again, we're continuing to stitch that down nice and flat. This method does, however you want to say it, add a little bit of bulk to the top of the zipper pocket. So if that is not your vibe, don't do it. Don't do it, girl. All right, I'm adding double-sided tape on my stitches, pressing that down. And then we're going to peel that off. If you are new to doing a zipper like this, I would recommend just peeling one piece of tape first and then lining it up and then peeling the other. But if you feel like you know what you're doing, you can just do them both at the same time. And then line that up. Press that down into place. Make sure everything's nice and even. And then I just leave both sides open. Zipper pull off. And we can stop. If you have a pop tab pull or one of my thinner zipper pulls, you can go all the way to the end and then push it back in, but I've got this big shaped bow pull. So I want to leave enough to wiggle that through with the needle down. And then get that through, zip it back up, make sure you readjust, and then it's out of the way. And then we'll just continue on to sew that complete. I'll pull those threads to the back. You can trim that zipper tape down if you'd like. Just take a lighter across. Make sure that's all good. Okay, and then we'll lay that flat and trim that excess down at the bottom. If you don't want to have that excess at all, you can cut one shorter and just make sure the shorter one is on top. And then we're going to flip this around. This is my preference. We're going to fold that birthing hole up, and then starting at a bit of an angle, we will sew this shut, going all the way to the top. And then trim that excess. And that little bit of an angle helps it so that all of your bulk can sit flat and out of the way. So we're gonna fold this equally on this side, all the layers at once. And then we'll start up at the top with about a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then increase at an angle, a quick little angle to about a 5/8. And then we can flip this open. And that creates our little zipper pocket with a nice clean edge for us to top stitch later. And then before I get too far, one of the last little prep items before I go back to the exterior is to add some double-sided tape to the top for when we put this all together. Stitch length out of 4. Thread tails long. Go ahead and get started. Pull my threads. I'm going to start on this little one here, just to ease in. coming down from the top like I have on the other one, but I think it's good. I think it's really good. So we can move on. Amazing. Okay, 1.5 inches down, 5 inches in. 2 of these. All right. So 1.5 inches down and then 5 inches in. So I like to use 2 different rulers. And what I will do is I will set this into those rulers. And that way it's nice. It's as straight as it can be. Okay. I sent Brittany a picture and she's like, how are you doing your connectors? Because she's like, you're going to cover it up. I was like, oh, I know. Thought about that after. It's fine. It's fine. All right. It's better if you peel your tape before you start sticking it down or lining up your rulers. All right, now don't flip this and tie your threads off yet because I've got to stitch this one down. And I should have switched my stitch length back, but I did not. So it is inconsistent on the connectors, but not by too terribly much. Okay. Now I can flip it over, tie these off. You can also add rivets to these if you would like, if you don't trust your thread to bear the load. But this Tex 90, Tex 70, whatever I'm using, it's good. From Amon. Amon. Right, and then this was the side I said I was going to add my nameplate onto. Oh, Lord. Where are you from? So, it's okay. All right, so, I don't know. Maybe I will add a rivet. I'll just mark it out for now. Actually, I think it'll break it up nicely if I add that rivet. Man, now I'm like, is that centered? That's a 5. That's a 5. It's good. It's good. It's good. My hole punch over here is always messed up because Dorothy pretends it's a drink machine. And I know, someday I'll miss that. It doesn't bother me. It makes me laugh, but. All right, so I'm adding that hole, my cap, and post. I like to put the post in the bottom and then the cap on top. Yeah, I think that's really nice looking. And truly, like, the rivet is now like second line of defense. If your stitching comes out at any point, you've got that rivet to help hold, reinforce that. And then, yeah, I'm gonna add my nameplate over here. It'll be cute, very cutesy, very demure. And then I'm gonna do like 2.5 up from the bottom. It's kind of scary doing a nameplate that is not in the center, but I think it'll be worth it. I like it. Yeah. All right, and then I know I need to add that, but I'm gonna add this to this side. The bottom of the bag is going to be attached to only one side to start. So you do not stitch across the bottom until later, and that's only if you want to have a really hard time. But what I can do is trim this down. And that's another reason we added this like decorative stitch, is because we're not going to be adding a base stitch. And then I'm going to add tape to the top of this side for our zipper to be attached to in a few moments. All of this prep work has now led us to a point where this bag is going to be done quick. Okay, we're just squeezing those connectors back into place. The time we've wasted, no, it's not wasted, but the time we've spent doing everything, they've kind of loosened up a little bit. All right, and then my clips need to come off so that I can line those up perfectly. And if you don't feel comfortable putting both on at the same time, like you're worried something's gonna come off, just sew the one on. Just do that. I'm pulling my thread to the back. And like especially there, I'm able to pull my thread to the back now because I didn't add the other side yet. But if I had added the other side and did what I just did, the connector probably would have flown off the bag and smacked me in the face. Just because the tape I'm using is so small. Okay. 1.5 and 5 inches. And then I am done with my rulers, so I can put them away. Make sure that's nice and straightened. Pull some long thread tails. I think that is one of my, like, something I don't do often enough is leave myself long thread tails. So here's a sewing goal for myself. Leave longer thread tails. Butthead. All right. I didn't end that well enough, so I have a skipped stitch. Okay, I'm gonna leave, really long threads. I'm gonna grab a needle. Luckily it's only one, and I was like just about done sewing, so we might be okay here. Thread my needle. I'm gonna go through that hole. Oh, might leave these over here. Little needle nose pliers. There we go. That is my chair, by the way. Making the most noise ever. Okay. Oh boy, that was not a hole I wanted to go in. That's what she said. It doesn't help that I've got a curved needle. It wasn't always curved. It has just become curved. Okay, well, that is apparently the needle. That is the hole I'm going in. leave that back there. I'm going to take this one on top and close up the area so that it never happened. Who's gonna know? Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. They're not gonna know. I'm just gonna tie all of them together. Everything back here. All right. Ow. Okay, adding a rivet. And again, we're not attaching the base to this side yet. We can't. Oh my gosh, this vinyl is so pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my two short sides. I want my zippers to be zipped shut in the same direction. Yep, so that's just what I'm starting with. And then we need to center the zipper. It's going to have about 1 inch on either side. And you want to press it gently into place. That's good. And now we've got our lining here. And we're going to place that right sides together. I'm laughing because there is a very old live video I did making a Lauren bag. Because this bag is so large and my camera fell, and I'm like, I wonder if it's going to happen again. I bet it will. All right, 3/8 of an inch. You could do 1/4 if you wanted, but 3/8 is my preference. Watch out for your zipper. Unzip it if you have to a little bit. Just make sure everything is taped together. And because of my bulk, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting that 3/8. That's okay. Go all the way. And then we're going to open this up, top stitch on the vinyl, not through the lining. This is my preference. I'm going to top stitch that down all the way. Oh, I'm increasing that stitch length to a 5. Moving everything out of the way, making sure your seam is pressed down. And then press. Oh, it's so pretty. We're going to leave our zipper pocket open. Grab the next side. And then center. And just make sure that you're not stretching your zipper, or that's going to cause like weird bumpy waves. Like that. But it's going to be kind of difficult because your strap connectors should be in the same place, kind of fighting each other. And if your strap connectors are not in the same place, I hate to say this, but maybe reevaluate where they're placed. All right, and now we have the two long sides together technically, because you have your base added to one side and not the other. And now to explain why that is that way is so that you can easily top stitch your zipper. If you wanted to add your base and top stitch your base, you're going to have to like open it up and top stitch your zipper in a very strange way. And I think that the top stitching on the zipper is way more important than the top stitching on the base. But you could also attempt to try to like recreate this bag as maybe like a drop-in with a recessed zipper panel or something, and then you'd be able to top stitch everything. All right. And as close to a 3/8 as we can get. So underneath, I have laid that seam flat so that I can top stitch through it. And I'm repressing underneath. You should not be sewing through your lining. If you want to sew through your lining, do not top stitch through the entire exterior, or it's going to look real bad. Go. And now we can place the bottom panel back on. This is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Just lining that up, right sides together. You could tape this if you wanted to, but just hold it. Tape, tape or clip. I'm gonna cut that down since I cut the other one down. Okay, and now the fun part. We are gonna clip everything right sides together. And we're going to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the exterior and increase to a 5/8, a scant 5/8 on the interior, just along the sides. A little worried because my panels don't line up. And I'm just wondering if I'm wrong or it's wrong. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then trim that down. Yeah, they should be the same size, and I know I cut that one to the same size, so maybe it's 4.5 inch. It might be 4.5 inch. Yeah. But hey, now I know. So I'll just trim that to match. My bad. The pattern piece is not wrong though, because people have made so many. I would have known by now. But the way I used to make these is I would cut the lining to match the pieces after I sewed them together. Okay, so we're going to start at a 5/8 this time, ending with a 1/2. So we're going to square the bottom of the exterior, but we're going to leave the bottom of the interior open. We're going to leave that open so we can turn the bag through nicely. Fold that flat and just go line, stitch line to stitch line. And if you wanted to, you could decrease your stitch length. unzipping so that my layers can sit nice and flat so there's no weird bulging. And then I'm cutting the excess out at an angle. But now you can see we've just got the bottom wide open, and we're going to sew that shut through the zipper pocket. And this makes it so it is super easy for us to flip the bag right side out. Feels so fun with all that foam. Love it. Okay, and then super, super important while you're here is to poke out those corners. Just get your thumb in there. Poke into that until it sits nice. So I just put my thumbnail up and poke that out. You don't want it to curve in on itself. So if it is, don't settle for it. Always kind of rearrange that. Okay. So now we can pull our lining out, push the zipper pocket out, and then we're going to grab these so that they are right sides together. Oh no, I didn't back stitch well enough, so we're just gonna close that back up, and we can switch back to like a 4 stitch length since we're done top stitching. So here we will have right sides together. And this is like we're creating a bottom panel. So if this seems silly to you, the way this is sewn together, just go ahead and create it like you would the exterior with those pieces cut that way. And we'll do 1/2 inch or just a little bit over if you'd like to make sure that your lining is a nice snug fit. Just bringing those together. Back stitch. We'll trim that excess down. And then instead of finding the centers, etc., you're only going to have one seam to create your squared bottom, but you're still lining up this to the center, and then you've got a seam on one side. Okay. And then we'll do 1/2 inch to 5/8 seam allowance there, whatever floats your boat. And trim down that excess. And then we're going to sew the pocket shut and rivet our handles on after we rearrange the lining to sit nicely, and it fits so nicely. Love it. Lining up our zipper pocket lining. Press that zipper pocket down inside. Line up all that. You can zip your zipper pocket shut. Zip your bag shut. I love the offset label. All right. And then we will rivet our handles on. So I just need 4 clips and then this little template from Jolie Lee Creations. It's a strap end guide. So I just use holes C and A. C and A. I used to kind of eyeball this, and I was like, wait, I have a tool I can use. So all I'm gonna do is punch all those holes and then rivet the handles on. Grab my handhold. Punch. 2 hands till it pops. And if you have a handheld punch and it's not quite punching, you can get a sharpener. I know it's a bit of an investment, but it can also sharpen your, dies for any other tools you have. Just FYI. It's so stinking cute. You can tell it's a really simple pattern, but easy to kind of elevate with how you create it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you watched the Sewciety marathon, I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.